Hello, welcome to Startup to Success. My guest today is Krista Mashore, who's the author of 4 best-selling books focusing on digital marketing and was named Yahoo Finance's #1 digital marketer to watch in 2021. She has been featured in Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, NBC, Fox, and many more. She brought her online business from $0 to $40 million in less than 4 years. Krista, I am so thrilled to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Maria. You're so pretty.
So are you. Oh my God, 0 to 40 million in just 4 years. I can't wait to dive in. I have so many questions for you. This is like every entrepreneur's dream, right? Like just understand how did you manage to do that? But before we begin, I want to start off with, what's the why behind your entrepreneurial journey? Why did you start this amazing venture?
It used to be for my daughters. I became a single mom with drained bank accounts. I was married at the time. My husband had an affair, and he ended up literally draining our accounts. We just bought a new house, and I had 2 little girls, like age 2 and 4. And so at that time, 21 years ago, it was survival instinct. And I was in the top 1% of realtors nationwide for 17 years. And then I had a higher calling. I was an expert in digital marketing and real estate, and I wanted to start helping other people do what I did, both in my profession and others. So I launched a coaching business about 4 years ago, teaching people how to utilize social media and video and digital marketing to launch their own businesses. And now I want people to remember me as somebody who helped them. I'm a people lover, and I love money too, but I like people more than money. And I think that's why we make good money.
I love that. I love how you took something that worked for you and decided to share it with others. Now, I come across a lot of situations like that where, I own a marketing agency and I help tech startups scale and acquire customers. So I sort of know what to do, but obviously we do this by really high budgets. And lately, a lot of small businesses have been reaching out to me and asking me how to do the same thing with almost no budget. And so I started, spending time here and there teaching them how to do it on, directly. But then I'm realizing it's not efficient. First of all, I'm not making money. I'm just teaching and helping. Second of all, it's just not efficient. So then I thought maybe I should start my video tutorials to do it. But then I'm just like, that's a whole different business in itself. How do I teach? How do I coach? All of that. So I just kind of put that aside. But I would love to learn more about, how did you take what you were good at and simply serve it to others and start teaching others so that it didn't consume you so much?
Yeah. So, first of all, it's definitely progressive. First of all, you cannot have any business, whether it's a small business or a large business, without having a marketing budget. When you said that people come with no budget, you have to market. Marketing is the core of any business. And whether you're a small business or you're an online marketer or you are, a McDonald's, you have to market, right? Marketing is power, and he who markets the most will always win, because you have more leverage and you have more opportunity. So you have to market, right? And so, I got to a point where I was so exhausted doing what I was doing. And I was like, I'm an expert in this, so I want to help others. And I launched it. And when I first started out, like the first year, I think it took me 11 months to hit $1 million, which is a lot actually, because it cost me $1 million to make $1 million. Like, I know that sounds terrible, and most people don't talk about that. Like I have these things called 2 Comma Club awards. And my first 2 Comma Club award took me 11 months to get. And I swear, I almost spent as much as I made it, because I was investing in my business, and I was taking money from my business that I left and putting money into my new business. I was building, and it took, no one likes to talk about this and no one likes to say this, but this is the reality of it. It took me, about 2.5 years to really become profitable. And when COVID hit, I was at about a 6-week burn rate. And we hit our first 2 Combo Club Award, which is like a $1 million sales funnel within 11 months. Then, and I don't know the exact numbers, but then within like 5 months, we hit like 3 more. So we did like, took us almost a year to do our first million. Then we did like the next 6 months, we did 4 more million, right? And then we had a really slow period where it kind of just stopped, and it was like, oh my God, what's happening? COVID hit. I was at a 6-week burn rate. I almost went under on my coaching business, and I sold one of my houses to put money into the business. I was taking money out of my other business, and we just completely changed and revamped our business model. And we have like, it's like way more than 10x, right? We just did a $4 million month in February. That's not standard. Typically we do around an average of around $1.5 million a month right now, but it's like, it just all of a sudden, once it hit and we figured it out, and again, we're always figuring it out. We're always changing, tweaking, and adapting. We found what works. And here's the sauce, the secret sauce. First of all, the key to my success as an entrepreneur, as a real estate agent, right, which is a small business, was utilizing video marketing and putting an ad spend, a budget behind it, and using social media to get my myself locally known and heard. Then I took that same strategy and I did it throughout the nation as a coach, and I started creating video content, and I took that content, I put money behind it so that it was actually being seen, and I started developing large audiences and creating so much value and giving away as much information as I could. I just heard this saying from Alex Hormozi. He was actually in my inner circle with Russell Brunson. He said, if you're not afraid of what you're giving away, you're not giving away enough. And I was like, I just heard that like 2 weeks ago, and it really hit me hard. And I've been giving away great stuff, and that's what we've done so well. But I mean, I literally like wrote a book, sell 100 homes a year, wrote a book, The Ultimate Lead Gen Playbook. And I gave away everything in those books, like everything. But the bottom line is that you can Google anything, you can read anything, but actually being able to take all these things that you're learning and actually put it into place, and to get help, and to ask questions, and to know what not to do, and to kind of like fast track success, you need help. And so that's what I did. I hired coaches, and I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaches to learn what I'm learning, and that's helped me fast track.
And that's the thing. People sometimes don't realize that investing in themselves is as important as investing in your business and investing in marketing. Oh, yeah. I remember when I first started out helping tech companies, I started at an agency, and my boss hired a coach to teach us how to become better. And this coach really, just prepped us to deal with these MIT and Harvard grad CEOs that speak very fast and think they're the smartest, but he really gave us the pointers and helped us fast track success. And so in a way, the amount of money that we ended up making because of his help, it paid for it plus an X, so but to your point, going back to marketing, I think that's the issue with a lot of people trying to save every penny, and they want to do everything in-house, and they want to learn everything, and which is fine. I have nothing against that. But there comes a point where certain things are just smarter when you just hire someone else who's an expert at it and does it. And I was giving this example earlier this morning to one of my colleagues who wants to do a billboard campaign. And he's like, yeah, I want to do billboards. And, I contacted the vendors and stuff. And I said, how much did they give you? Like, what were the prices like? And he's like, it starts from $5,000. I'm like, my agency, we can probably get that same billboard for $1,000 because we buy a lot. We have a buying power. So, I know you think my agency could be expensive for you, but in reality, it can actually be more cost effective. So let's go back to people hiring coaches. What are some of the benefits that they could get if they're, let's say, in a situation where they're experts at whatever it is that they're doing, and they want to start helping people at scale? What can they get out of your program, for example?
So are you asking as an individual who's a business owner hiring a coach, or somebody who wants to become a coach?
Well, okay. I'll sort of ask from my perspective, right? So I own a marketing agency, but we have a niche. We only focus and work with a specific niche, is direct to consumer, and they have to be online, and they do have to have at least 100,000 or above per monthly spend, because we do podcast and audio. We do city takeover campaigns, which are very omni-channel, and it's online and offline, it's expensive.
Mhm.
And it's usually it's host read, host endorsed, and that's where it gets expensive. But it's very authentic because you're having a radio host promote your product, you're having a podcast host promote your product. With that said, then I have this, I want to say, probably 20-30% of my prospects who come don't have that budget. They are in a healthy place, but don't have the budget to work with us, asking for help, asking for training in-house or whatever. At one point, we started training them, doing corporate training where we would go train their team how to do things in-house. But again, it's not a scalable model for us. It's just that there's only so many companies we can go and do corporate training. So it's just, I'll ask you from my perspective, if it's something that I'm thinking of doing and scaling and teaching people how to do marketing at scalable marketing and customer acquisition, what's one way that I could use coaching program like yours to help me hone it down and build that program, I guess?
So when you're wanting to, my mentor, Russell Brunson, says, and there's a book called, I think it was written by Dan Sullivan, and it's called Who Not How, right? Like you can Google anything, how to do this, how to do that, right? And Google will tell you how to do everything, but you don't know how to put any of that together. If you go to somebody who has done what you're trying to do, and that's the key though, Maria, is finding someone that's actually done what you've done. And I think that there's a lot of fraudulent people out there. I mean, right now, there are so many people that have gotten to the online marketing world and they're saying, I actually had it happen to me. I had a guy that he wanted to kind of sort of do a joint venture with me, and I agreed to it. Looking back, I shouldn't have, but he said, I know all the contacts, and you're doing $1 million months. You've done $1 million months for, a year in a row. Let's team up. I'll bring you the people and you teach them how to do it. And so it ended up being like a complete nightmare. The guy, he wasn't the right person. I could, he was kind of controlling and a little bit demeaning. And I thought, oh my gosh, red flag, red flag. So I told him, I don't want to be partners anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Next thing I know, he's literally on a podcast and he's saying how he developed a system and he's had $1 million months and I would like, literally, he's like, yeah, we're in the real estate niche. And I mean, he was basically saying my whole entire strategy and system that he had been doing it for a year. And I mean, it was all complete lies. He denies it now and says, oh, that was for us. And I forgot about it. But it was like, he never mentioned my name, he was doing it for him and basically taking all the credit for doing $1 million months. So I say that you need to be very careful who you hire and make sure they've actually done what you're trying to do. You know that saying, he who can't do then teach. Make sure they've done. There's so many people that can't do the things, so they become an expert teacher, right? Make sure they've actually done what you're trying to do. That's the first thing. When you hire the right coach or consultant, they have trialed, they have failed, they know what works. Like I was a real estate agent for 17 years, top 1% in real estate, right? Sold 2,300 homes. I did it online through digital marketing and through ads. And so I had done it. The year that I left to go full-time coaching, I had sold 154 homes that previous year myself with an assistant and a transaction coordinator. And I was teaching my brother to become me. So I was like doing it. And then I went to teach other people, and we've had wild success. Like we have thousands of students right now. We've helped, so many people truly just transform their businesses, but it's because I've actually done what they've done. And another thing why you need a coach is because there's no such thing as an overnight success. And people think like, especially with marketing, things take time. You can't expect to, oh, I paid $5,000. I didn't get an ad, or I didn't get a call. It's not working. It does not work that way. You have to give it the time that it takes, right? Like I say, you need your GPS and you need to put gas on your GPS. Your GPS is you have your goals, right? You have, your plan, and you have your strategy. That's your GPS, right? But then you need to have gas on it. You need goals, accountability, and support to get the GPS to work. Like you've got your goals, you've got a plan, you've got a strategy. If you don't have the accountability and the support to help get you there, you're never going to get there. You're going to stop. And that is where most entrepreneurs, businesses, and people fail, is that they don't see results right away. So they give up. And truly it takes months and months sometimes. Like I've had people take 8 months, 10 months, a year, and all of a sudden their businesses, they say it's blowing up overnight. And I'm like, there's nothing overnight about it. You've been watering the seed, you've been planting, you've been doing these little small consistent things over and over again that actually work. And then all of a sudden, all those things put together over time, it's like jet fuel happened, right? But most people don't give it the time it takes.
And I think now with especially digital marketing, you have analytics, you have data, and it's people have become more impatient, just trying to look at the results immediately, and then they just give up too fast. And I think the touch points now, if it used to be 5 to 6 times, now it's more
47.
than. Oh my, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's ridiculous. So imagine how much you have to advertise and be out there for them to remember you, because it's just so crazy noisy. Let's talk a little bit about as you were putting together this amazing company while you were running your older company, right? And was there anything that you figured out that you'd say it took your business to the next level? Like, did you have an aha moment where you were just like, oh my God, this is going to take me to the next level?
There wasn't an aha moment, but there was just a lot of trial and error, right? And so here's what I realized. Find one thing that works and continue to adjust and tweak and modify and change it. And I'll give you an example. We started doing challenges about 4 years ago, and the challenges were great and they worked really well. But then when COVID hit, so last January, so as of today, it's like almost July 1st, right? So from January 1st of 2021 until right now, we've been driving traffic to a virtual online event. The first month that we did it, we did $1.3 million in sales on a virtual event on Zoom, just like this, no graphics. It was just me teaching for 2 days on a Zoom for 8 hours a day, made an offer on, day 2 before lunch, repitched after lunch. We did $1.3 million the first month.
Wow.
And then what we've done ever since is we've continued to redo it, and we've changed one thing each time. It was okay, this month we're going to change this. We're going to see if this moves the needle ahead or below. There were some months where there was one month I lost over $900,000 from making a change. I know that sounds, but we have so much data and so much analytics from our 3-day virtual boot camp that we know, based upon this many people, I know what my conversion rate is. We're going to make this much money. Okay. But based upon tweaks or changes, it either accelerates what we've done or it moves us back. Right. But I know it sounds funny. People are like, you lost 900 grand. I did. Were you upset? Yeah, it kind of sucked. But I was like, hey, I know not to do that again. Let's move on. Right. I mean, really, and when you start making enough money, it sucks, but it's also like it's a part of doing business when you get to that level. And yes, it hurt, and I would much rather have had it, but I realized what not to do. And so what we would do every month, we know these boot camps work, we know they're effective, so we just keep refining it. We make the slides better, we make the stories better, we move things around, we do the activities that we know people love, we find out the questions that people are asking, and then we insert that into the training. I've done it now, over 19 times. And imagine doing a 3-day event 19 times. And every time you do it, you watch it, you analyze it, and you go, what can we make better? What didn't work? What did work? Okay, what's one thing that we can test to tweak? Right. And it's something like, I'll give you an example of testing something. So I have a coach, and he was like, Krista, we send people to a link where they jump on a call and talk to my sales team. I only have 3 sales members. Okay. So when you do a boot camp and there's 120 calls that book, it's hard. And I only have 3 people. And the longer that somebody goes from me making the offer and going to the training, for example, the first 2 days, super hot, everybody shows up, conversions are easier. By the time the day 3 comes, no shows increase, cancellations increase, and conversions decrease.
Yeah.
It's insane, right? So there's all these hiccups. So my coach told me, just send people straight to a link. Send them straight to make an offer, send them to a link. Now I have a $23,000 program. Okay. So the first time I did that, we did $366,000 in sales immediately to a link without talking to somebody. But that sounds good, but it's not. And here's why. Because we should have made over 900,000 more. So we did over $1 million, but it's still, right. But it should have been, we had to change everything, like, oh my God, that didn't work. So the next day it was like, book a call when we did the pitch, right? But we would have made more if we just would have stuck to book a call. and figure that out. But 2 different times, maybe 3, we've done it to where they don't get a book a call. They're actually going to a link or they're going to a Zoom room. Every time, no matter what, booking a call, being able to talk to somebody live, getting someone to answer your questions has far outperformed booking going to a link. And so that cost me almost $900,000. We still did over $1 million, but it should have been a $2 million month, So, but you don't know that unless you learn it. Another thing my coach helped me with was I was doing these every single month. Okay. My voice was going out. I was getting exhausted. I was starting to dread it. I mean, it's a lot on your body, doing these every single month. So he said, okay, Krista, we record it again, and don't mention the date. Don't mention the time. And so you can use it. So now we say, so we just did one last month. It was recorded. We've already done over $1 million. We did it a week and a half ago. We did it. So this month we're already above $1 million, and it was recorded. Right. So now, I didn't have to use my voice. It was still live. I was in the chat. My team's in the chat. Right. We told them, hey, some of this is live, some of it isn't. I did the pitch live. I did one training live. The rest of it was recordings. People couldn't even tell. They forgot it was. But I mean, to be able to do an event, it's a recording, and I know it converts because we've done it 19 times, and we know now exactly what to do and how to do it and when to do it. That sucker it's amazing, So, and one more thing I will say, and it's this, is that people look at people, and I know you said 20 minutes already passed, but people look at people and they're like, oh my gosh, Maria can do it because she's just this gorgeous, you're so pretty, and that's why she can do it. And Krista can do it because she's got a lot of energy, and she's, that's why Krista can do it. And the truth of the fact is I have not lived at home since I was 13. I wet the bed until I was 10. I had a learning disability. Could not read until I was in the 4th grade. I had physically abused by my mom. And so I left home at 13 and have not been back. Group home, foster home, juvenile hall. Super close to my family now, my mom now, but there was a lot of years where I wasn't. So I've had a lot of mental stuff I've had to work through, and my mindset and mastering my mind. And especially right now with what's happening in the world, the pandemic, inflation, interest rates, the wars, people need to master their mind. And so, right now we are going through some really hard times. Tony Robbins says that we're in winter, and it's going to be winter for a long time. And when it's not a bad thing, many people are going to go out of business. Many people are going to quit. Most people, when this happens, they go in fear, they isolate, they get paralyzed, they stop doing the things they need to do. They stop marketing, they hide all their money. Here's the deal. Your money's not worth anything. Your money's not worth anything right now. So use what you have to learn a skill. Use what you have. Your best hedge against inflation and against interest rates in the market is yourself, your knowledge, and your business. Your knowledge and your power, and you really, really, going full bore is what's going to protect you from what's coming up. So don't let this market scare you. Get your mind intact, and it all starts with the mind. People will say, how do you do that? And I'm like, well, first of all, I need to teach you how to get your mind right. That's a whole month-long initial just infusing you with that. And then it's here's the tactics with mindset. Here's a tactic with more mindset. It's constant mindset because it's a lot, and it's not so easy. Has it been easy doing what I've done? Of course not. Have I screwed up a million times? My God, absolutely. But now we are we have not done less than $1 million a month in over, we're going on our 19th month. Right. Wow. During a pandemic, during a recession, during all of this, we've done anywhere from $1 million to $4 million a month in contracted sales on the books, so it works, but you got to stick to it. You got to be positive, and you got to keep pushing, and you got to change, and you got to invest, bottom line.
Yeah. Thank you. And invest in yourself. That's really amazing advice. Thank you for that. How can our listeners get a hold of you?
So there's something I'm doing that's brand new right now, and I'm not making an offer. I'm just totally helping people through mindset and encouraging and inspiring them. It's called limitlessprosperitychallenge.com. So if you go to limitlessprosperitychallenge.com, it's basically a month long. You can join at any time, right? It starts July 11th. It runs from 8:30 to 9:15 Pacific, where I'm going to be talking about mindset, limiting beliefs, overcoming fears, how to be more productive, how to hold yourself accountable. It's truly live with me every day, and we're going to be helping people move the needle and get through this crisis that we're going through right now. So you just go to limitlessprosperitychallenge.com. It will tell you all about it. It's free. Invite your friends. I'll be there to help inspire you and encourage you, and you'll be learning from somebody who's done the thing you're trying to do.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And we'll have this in the show notes too. Thank you so much, Krista. I've learned so much. I literally took notes as you were speaking. So inspiring. Thank you for doing all
Thank you for
this.
having Maria. Go and take action, everybody.
Yes, thank you.